Today, I'm going to show you how I paint clothing. A shirt like this can be overwhelming. Now, a lot of people can get intimidated or have a hard time painting clothing, but I think if you go about it sort of strategically and break it down sort of step by step, it's a lot easier than you think. But to keep things simple, I have a two-step process with clothing. Step number one is identifying the colors. Again, at first glance, this looks like this is just a white and blue shirt. And the mistake a lot of people will make is they will just mix white and blue and just use the same white and the same blue for every stripe. It's going to make it look really flat. There's not going to be any depth. So that's something that you definitely have to identify because there's going to be more than one color of each. I usually only use 3 of each shade of color, just to keep it simple. The first color I'll find is my darkest blue, which is kind of close to black, my mid-tone, which is like my true blue, and then my lightest one for the highlights. Then for the whites, I'll find my darkest gray here, my mid-tone, and my closest thing to sort of true white. Step number 2 is I start laying down these colors from dark to light. So after I'm done mixing the colors that I just identified, I'll start laying down those dark values. So I'll go with the darkest blue here first and cover all the shadowed areas and the folds. Then I'll move on to my mid-tone, kind of my true blue, cover all of those areas on the shirt. And then I'll move on to my lightest blue where I'll cover all of the different highlighted areas. And I'll move on and do the same exact thing with the white colors. Now, the big mistake that most people make with white is they just paint things flat white. If you're painting a white shirt, for example, most of what you're going to be painting is different versions of gray and different colors and things for the shadows. Take this for example. This looks like just a plain white t-shirt, but if I was to take the eyedrop tool and start grabbing different areas to see what colors it's made up of, I'd find something like this. So this is sort of this light gray, very light purple color in one of these shadowed areas. If I was to move to a different area and grab something that again to my eye looks like it may be white, I get this, which is this sort of light gray with a hint of blue color. And it's because this shirt is taking on all the reflections and colors and shadows of things around it. And just for kicks, one other area, this is just like straight gray. So the white is just going to be used to add highlights at the very end. Then before you know it, this thing that was intimidating or overwhelming in the beginning, you did piece by piece, you've laid it down, all the color values are correct, it looks realistic, it has a lot of depth and layering. And after adding the final accessories, in this case, the watch and the sunglasses, this whole area is pretty much done. And that, my friends, is how I paint clothing.